So basically we watch movies thinking, that can never happen to us. That's a great life. That's a great story. But it's only in the movies. No, it can definitely be in real life because your life is a movie. You're the main character and everyone else is an extra. Or you also have supporting characters. But your life is the movie and you're the main character. And you're also the director, you're also the producer, you're also the makeup artist. You're all of them. And that's why you can either create an amazing movie, one that you can watch a million times and always tell yourself this is great. So you have these movies that stay with you. Why? Because to you, these are your like fantasy world, right? But you can definitely have that in real life. You just have to have an imagination that matches it. You can't be like, oh, that's only in the movies and stay in the shadow level, because once you come out of the shadow level, you're going to see that it's not just in the movies. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm going over all 64 gene keys. I hope everyone has been well. I hope everyone's well rested. And I hope everyone's happy. So in last week's show, we talked about gene key number 7. A little recap. So gene key number 7, a world of division. The shadow is division. So the repressive nature of this shadow is hidden. Basically, it's leaders that go unnoticed, perhaps in their local environment, but not on a global level, definitely not on a larger scale. At the other end, you have the reactive nature. The reactive nature of this shadow is dictatorial. So dictatorial leadership basically means that you know you're a leader, and you know there's followers out there, and you take advantage of that. You overuse your power of being a leader. So you're not hidden. You're not like going unnoticed. It's you're abusing, you know you have the skills, and therefore you go find the followers, you use patterns to lock them in. You manipulate them, you sell them on whatever that they want to be sold on, and then you take that to your advantage. So once you go over these two shadows and you see that these two types of natures do not work for you, your true gift goes towards guiding. It goes towards guidance. You're no longer hiding, or you're no longer going after finding people. You just sit back and you guide. So you basically wait for the world to come to you or people come to you, and then you can give your advice, the information that you want to put out in the world upon somebody asking for it. So once you're done with this shadow and then hitting the gift level, the CD level of gene key number 7 is virtue. So virtue, it's, you're at a level where you've probably written a couple of books, you've taught for like decades, you've been guiding for a very long time. So the last level is virtue. Your pure existence is enough to infectiously affect people's aura so that they can be more of a light being just like you, a virtuous being. So this is gene key number 7. Now in today's show, we're going to talk about gene key number 8. So gene key number 8 is something that touches everybody. The shadow level is mediocrity. So let's start. Beyond the comfort zone. When you look at the world in which we live today, especially the Western world, it is quite extraordinary how many people live such similar lives. The 8th shadow, like all the shadow frequencies, is founded upon a specific fear, and in this case, it is the fear of being different. The 8th shadow prevents individuals from rising out of the mass consciousness and exploring the real adventure of life. The true nature of individuality is rebellion, but rebellion is unsafe. So the mass consciousness of humanity chooses the illusion of security instead. Only when life forces you to grow through some kind of crisis or death of a loved one, for example, do you come to experience your true nature outside the borders of this comfort zone. One of the issues addressed repeatedly throughout this book is the influence of modern education, especially in the years leading up to the age of 7. Most educational systems encourage sameness rather than difference because difference threatens the system itself. In modern education, young children go through an accepted process of tests and examinations, the very nature of which is to regurgitate memorized information with little or no scope for spontaneous innovation. This indoctrination begins in your early childhood and lasts into your early 20s as you are cycled through the same system that shaped your parents and your parents' parents. By setting up a system where sameness is the rule, we have successfully turned individuals into outsiders and reactionaries. What is important to realize at this stage of our evolution is that this 8th shadow is bred into you from an early age, and in most cases, it has to be unlearned later in life if you are to have the least chance of living out your gifts and finding your genius. One of the deep fears emerging from the 8th gene key is the fear of success. This fear is reinforced through its programming partner, the 14th shadow of compromise. You compromise your dreams not because you fear you will fail, but because you know that to succeed, you will have to rebel against the whole of society and its expectations of you. You fear what you might become because you do not know who you are. The highest frequency of the 14th city concerns bounteousness, which is the reward for the individual who dares to break free from the trap of mediocrity. In other words, the path less traveled leads to treasure. The 8th shadow gives you a recognizable stereotype in the world which not only makes you feel safe about who you think you are, but also makes others feel safe about who they think you are. Mediocrity is defined by others rather than by yourself, and mediocrity has two main functions. Firstly, it keeps you from thinking outside the box. Under the influence of this low frequency, you think like everyone else, look like everyone else, and more or less behave like everyone else. And you will do this based on what others may or may not think about you. The second function of mediocrity is to serve the machinery of society rather than evolution. In so doing, you become a part of the background of life rather than a major player. Mediocrity prevents people from being heroes and heroines. Nowadays, most of us are simply content to dream about what we could have achieved in our lives. We may watch the films and movies of others and may even be deeply moved by them. But the 8th shadow prevents us from believing in ourselves enough to embody such a life. So basically we watch movies thinking, that can never happen to us. That's a great life. That's a great story. But it's only in the movies. No, it can definitely be in real life because your life is a movie. You're the main character and everyone else is an extra. Or you also have supporting characters. But your life is the movie and you're the main character. And you're also the director, you're also the producer, you're also the makeup artist, you're all of them. And that's why you can either create an amazing movie, one that you can watch 1,000,000 times and always tell yourself this is great. So you have these movies that stay with you. Why? Because to you, these are your fantasy world, right? But you can definitely have that in real life. You just have to have an imagination that matches it. You can't be like, oh, that's only in the movies and stay in the shadow level, because once you come out of the shadow level, you're going to see that it's not just in the movies. So let's proceed. We may watch the films and movies of others and may even be deeply moved by them, but the 8th shadow prevents us from believing in ourselves enough to embody such a life. And their reason is fear. Fear is endemic throughout the very infrastructure of our society. Those who move beyond this threshold of fear move in a world that seems incomprehensible to the mainstream culture. The 8th shadow makes you a follower of outside authorities. At every turn, This shadow prevents you from breathing the cool, fresh air of your true, unbounded nature. It traps you in its twists and turns and prevents you from being a free thinker. What is a free thinker? It is someone who can see beyond the current structures imposed by life. It is a person who lives from the spontaneity of his or her own creativity. Free thinkers also live freely. They follow no one, even though they may have been influenced and inspired by others. It takes great energy and courage to push through the darkness and fear of this shadow and find out who you really are and what you are truly capable of. If you wish to escape mediocrity, you will have to find your own path and invent your own identity in the world. It will be like no other path, and it will take you beyond your comfort zone into dangerous territory where there are no assurances that you will succeed except for your faith in your own deep and vibrant nature. This is very true. You risk it all. You give it all up just to find out that it was worth it at the end. So when you do give it up, you're like, oh my God, should I give it up? Should I not give it up? You kind of go through this tunnel of paranoia. And then when you finally make up your mind and you're like, you know what, I am going to give it up because I want something completely different. That's where you hit the level of no return, the level of, you did your 180, your 360, call it however you want, but you've done your circle and now it's the second mountain. Like they say, you've climbed the first mountain and now you're going to climb the second mountain. The first mountain is to go through society, to do everything that you've wanted to do based on your programming. Once you're successful at that and you see that, that's not what is truly rewarding, because following the system is definitely not rewarding at the end. So once you find that out, then the second mountain you're climbing is to give everything up of your old programming and start your new mountain of spirituality, of service to others, call it however you want. But the second mountain is the mountain that benefits everybody because you are using your authentic gift, your true genius, and whatever your true genius is, that's really needed. Instead of just having, a mass of population following one thing. I started university, everything was going to start on a brand new millennial, everyone was excited about it. We had millennial parties. It was a big deal. There's like an entire generation that just went into computer science. I was one of them because year 2000 was all about, technology, computers, the internet. It was slow as hell back then. But we had access. It was very exciting. It was a brand new thing. So true nature, your true genius can rarely be repeated. Because even if there's many life coaches, the way I coach is different from the way someone else's coaches. So there's no two identical person if you follow your genius. If you don't follow your genius, we all go to the same school, we all get the same training, we're all the same person. We're all getting the same skills, we're all getting the same thing. But your true genius is your authentic self. And that comes with time. Because let's say if you faked it for like 20 years, you can't just suddenly overnight be authentic. You're like 100% me because you don't know who you are. So you can't talk with that confidence, right? You have to first watch your words, then wonder why you said that, then wonder why you think like that. And then with time and with years, you can blast off with your intuition taking over and you don't even have to think anymore. It's like everything I say, I know it's coming from my authentic self and therefore I don't need to filter anything. But when you're in the system, you got to filter everything. You got to keep a lot of things to yourself. So it's a huge difference. It's a huge, opposite side, but it's definitely worth it. It's the second mountain and it's the best mountain to climb. Now let's proceed. So the repressive nature. So the repressive nature of this gene key is wooden. So wooden, you're dry like a wood. Those who follow the mainstream path of mediocrity are essentially devoid of life force and lacking in a true sense of purpose. These are people whose words and actions may be of some service to the world, but who at the same time lack fire and grit. Such lives are wooden lives, and such people have allowed themselves to become hollow. They gave up on their dreams somewhere between being a child and growing into an adult. Without embracing their fears, they became swallowed up by their responsibilities and the many compromises they made throughout their lives. The result is that they live lives that do not belong to them or allow them space to breathe or create. And this is why it's really important to be authentic right off the bat. Because let's say you fake it, right? And then while you're faking it, you're meeting some, great friends. While you're faking it, you're meeting a great person, a great partner. While you're faking it, you're having a bunch of kids. While you're faking it, you're just going deeper and deeper into the root. So further down in the future, it's going to be hard to slam on the brakes and say, you know what? I'm actually not like this and actually don't like these things. And this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to go follow doing. It's not everything that I've promised and I'm really sorry, right? You want to do that in the beginning. You want to just be straight up in the beginning and say, these are the things I like. These are the things I don't like. These are my deal breakers. And if the person doesn't fit in it, then right off the bat, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. But man, fake it, because you don't want to be alone. You don't want to go to bed alone, and then fake it. And then 20 years later, when you have a whole family, it's the people doing it. People are doing it. It's just so much, of misery you can stand, right? So people at the end up doing it. You can be 65 and snap and be like, you know what, my whole life was a lie. You can do that as well. But the best thing is to be authentic with yourself right off the bat, authentic with everyone else right off the bat. And hey, if they don't like it, they don't like it. They can remain in the mediocrity level, That's pretty much what it is. They can remain in the shadow level. But the sooner you get out of the shadow level, the sooner I got out of the shadow level, the sooner it benefited me and the sooner it's going to benefit you. And in the beginning, you might lose some friends. You might lose some family members. Hey, I moved so many times. It was just easy for me, It's like every time I moved, I lose friends. It became like a habit after a while. So with time, you'll see. Authenticness means right off the bat, you pick the right friends for you. You pick the right surrounding for you because you're authentic. But a lot of times, you don't know who you are, and therefore you go to all these different types of parties, all these different types of events to find out exactly what you like and what you don't like. And that's the beauty of the whole thing, is that if you don't know, you will know. Always. Evolution always gives you information. So whether that information comes when you're 65 or if it comes when you're 20, it doesn't matter. It's going to come. Now, the reactive nature. The reactive nature of the shadow is artificial, which in other words mean fake. The difference between the reactive and the repressive nature concerns the human spirit. In the repressive nature, the spirit has collapsed inward at some point in life. In the reactive nature, the spirit is channeled into the world where it creates an illusion of itself based upon its dreams. Such people live purely artificial lives. On the surface, they may seem successful and even original, but beneath their patina, they have compromised their spirit to some aspect of the system. You can spot the difference between the repressive and reactive nature through their relationships. The repressive side never leaves their relationships out of fear of change. The reactive side cannot stay in their relationships because their facade inevitably breaks down and the rage rises to the surface, at which point they usually run away. So again, so much that you can fake it before it starts getting to you, and then before you snap and run away to start a new life, or just run away to deal with your emotions, because everything is momentum, right? So again, if you've the longest time you faked it, it's going to take a while to start your life all over again. It's all about momentum. So again, the earlier you know who you are, the better it is for you and for everybody else, but definitely for you, because again, it's your movie. It's like, you have a movie where the character doesn't know who he is and what he wants and what he's doing, and it ends up being a Seinfeld show, a show about nothing.
Yeah, right. I'm really serious. I think that's a good idea.
Just talking? What's the show about?
It's about nothing.
No story?
No, forget the story.
You gotta have a story.
Who says you gotta have a story?
But that's not how movies are. You know, you want to have a brand new story. You want to have some adventures. You want to have a love story. You want to have some comedy. You don't want to have any horror. Trust me on that. But you basically want an action-filled, thrilled, suspense, a little bit of drama, but, a lot of comedy. You want a life that, includes everything. So the eighth gift. So what happens when you come out of this shadow? Let's put some Jeopardy music. What happens? The eighth gift becomes style. So how do you break out of mediocrity? Through your own style. And when you have a style, no one can really copy your style. They can copy maybe just your hair, your makeup, or maybe with things you wear, but they can't copy your style, like who you are and who you bring to the table, or when you walk into a room at a party, who you are as an individual. That's your style. To break out of the heavyweight frequency of the eighth shadow, you have to take an exciting leap of faith in yourself. This gift catches people's attention because it brings something fresh into the world. The gift of style has little to do with our popular interpretation of this word. It has more to do with following your own unique rebellious spirit out into the world. True style cannot be measured by materialistic trappings, nor can it be faked. That's true, you can't fake style. Because that comes again with momentum. It's like somebody that's been like James Dean for like 20 years, that person's gonna have an insane character that you can never ever mimic. It is the natural flowering of your individuality. To find your own style is to be yourself without concern about what others may think. Since it bypasses the mind, style cannot be imitated or preconceived, always emerging spontaneously and naturally. True style takes great joy in shattering the gray world of mediocrity that is considered the norm. This gift does not sit happily within society. Although the pure joy and freedom of expressing your true nature far outweighs any repercussion that may come with the territory, individual uniqueness is something that our modern societies uphold and idolize. But in reality, we are afraid to have too many colorful individuals. Style is more than skin deep. It is the cutting edge of creation itself. Individuals manifesting this gift have surrendered themselves to a creative process that controls them rather than them controlling it. Creativity can be a thankless business. Oftentimes, an individual is so ahead of his or her own time that their uniqueness is not appreciated until after their death, just like Prince. I know when Prince first came out, people didn't know what to do with it. They're like, okay. But now it's like, wow. Everyone loves Prince. Everybody. I don't know a single person that didn't love Prince or doesn't love Prince. It's like Michael Jackson. Everybody loves Michael Jackson. If you don't like Michael Jackson, go see a doctor. Just kidding. Style is dangerous to society and its logical, structured, system-based thinking and infrastructure. It is dangerous because it mimics nature, which so many systems try to control and explain. Like nature, style is given shape by a wild, organic, and unpredictable energy. It is full of genius and quantum leaps. For the individual, the eighth gift brings a deeply fulfilling sense of purpose, but so often these individuals find themselves unable to interface their gift with the world. This is why individual uniqueness is usually confined to those realms like art, fashion, or music, where it is acceptable and where there is some space for it to breathe. In most other spheres of society, individual style is generally suppressed because it is neither trusted nor understood. And that I can vouch for. Because in office areas, for sure, you shouldn't have any style. You should just fit in and be like everybody else. You should only, surpass people in the level of work you do and in your skills, but not like the way you're dressed or not, the way you look. Those are normally really controlled within society, and I can vouch for that. Until a collective coalesces made up of individuals who are free thinkers, the eighth gift of style will remain on the fringes of society. Fortunately, free thinkers who find their own sense of style are not really concerned with fitting in. Their only concern is to free more free thinkers. Such freedom is truly contagious. Such people inherit a powerful mission in the world, even though they may not see it that way. Finally, this eighth gift is about actually manifesting individual dreams rather than simply dreaming them. This is the byproduct of operating at a higher frequency. Now, anything becomes possible for you because in yielding to your inner spirit, the sheer force of creativity that comes through you freezes up channels and opportunities that were previously blocked. Such is the power of genius, for it carries within it more than just a new concept. It carries intent from a higher realm that is far beyond the individual through whom it manifests. So style is really important. I got a Moldavite. I didn't know what a Moldavite was until I found out, and how cool is that? Check it out. That's what a Moldavite is. So, right? Like, I don't know, when I heard that, I was like, I want that. I want to be stylish with a 15 million year old rock on me. Hey. So let's proceed. The eighth city. So, once you're in style for a long time, how do you get out of it? What is even better than someone that has incredible style? The spirit has incredible style. You become exquisiteness. Your sheer presence becomes exquisiteness. The eighth city of exquisiteness is the natural revelation and manifestation of all the citic states. Each city is holographic in the sense of being reflected within all other cities. Exquisiteness is experienced when the divine essence begins to shine through the individual. In this superlative state of bliss, you fall in love with your own pristine manifestation because it is through this uniqueness that the divine currents can be accessed. You shine like a diamond or shine like a Moldavite in the heart of creation, and wherever you look, you see other diamonds in various states of clarity, each one unique and each one exquisite and incomparable. At this rare field level of consciousness, where all levels paradoxically cease, you come to realize the great joke of individuality and differentiation. Despite its exquisiteness, individuality is an optical illusion created by the mind. You experience yourself riding in a genetic vehicle that is unique, but your being rests in the consciousness field behind all differentiated forms. This is the stage at which you achieve transcendence of your genetics. You remain differentiated at the level of form, but at the collective universal level, your awareness permeates all forms, making you both a drop in the ocean as well as the ocean itself. Your true nature is wildness. There is no taming where the divine is concerned, and thus the state of exquisiteness sees through mankind's many veils. Life never repeats itself, and they are never the same from moment to moment. In every single second, there are new. This is the origin and meaning of the famous saying by Heraclitus, "You can never step in the same river twice." This saying points to the truth of the eighth city, the truth of human nature. Like water, it is always moving, changing, and evolving, but the river itself is unchanging, and the river is consciousness. The people of the eighth city are not leaders. They are examples. They do not want anyone to follow or mimic them. Wherever such people see the inauthentic or imitative, their very nature exposes its ugliness. Because of this trait, they have a very powerful liberating effect on individuals. At the same time, they are often criticized and spurned by society. Like Socrates, they wish for people to find their own answers in their own questions. Their very presence acts as a light to free individuals from structured systems. Their language is the language of the rebel, and they use beauty as a means to reflect an individual's true nature. They are not limited to any single form of expression, but will play with science or art, yoga or tantra, logic or poetry, since to them all the expressions can be a means to display the exquisiteness of the divine in form. To the person immersed in the blissfulness of this 8th CD, all life is absolutely clear. Clarity, moreover, is paradoxically found in the very uncertainty and wildness of life. These people leave no tracks for others to follow. They know life as a rush of contradictions and mysteries, never designed to be solved. The CD of exquisiteness is chemically bonded to the 2nd CD of unity. These are the 2 great feminine gene keys in the human genome, drawing all human beings along their inevitable journey to self-realization. This eternal love knot deep within our planetary gene pool sets each man and each woman squarely on the human journey. The true symbolism of the number 8 represents a timeless quest for the buried treasure that lies inside each of us, that elusive diamond of our true nature. People of this 8th CD sparkle like exquisite rare jewels. Such people create their path as they walk it. Their legacy to the world is to dismantle all concepts of how one should live or what one needs to do in order to attain any particular state. The only thing they give to the world is their own exquisite lovingness, their absolute delight in being abandoned to the mystery itself, with no need for method or meaning. Theirs is the rush of existence, the aching pulse of the passing moment, and the boundless joy that can only come from touching the core of your own existence. So how beautiful is that? So, mass consciousness is at the shadow level. So unfortunately, we're all trying to fit in. We're all trying to be mediocre. We're trying to just have a regular life so that we don't have too much drama and too much stress and we can handle it. But that secure life is kind of, what I call like that kind of boring life, because it's routine oriented. You can predict exactly what's going to happen, and therefore there's no more excitement. The highlight of your week is a Netflix show or, to go to the movies. So, that's what we're all in, and we're going towards style. And you can see it on Instagram. People are, less trying to fit in. You have people that are standing out now. And because they have their individual style, they're, they have a lot of followers and a lot of people are looking up to them. And they're influencers because they have their own style. So what happens after style? You become exquisite. And when you become exquisite at that level, you just exist. You don't need to make meaning out of anything. You don't need to explain mysteries or try to investigate and find out exactly what is what. You don't need to go down the rabbit hole. You don't need to do anything. You know what it is, and you're like, you know what? Every day is a blessing. Every day is a new chapter in my movie. It's a new story. I get to meet new characters. So let's have fun with it. Wonderful, wonderful gene key. One that everybody can relate. Every single one of us. So thank you very much. God bless every single one of you. Please like, share, comment, or subscribe, and let me know what you think. So thanks again, and see you on the next one. Ciao.